Hello, and welcome back to Virtual Death Diva channel, my channel. Me being the Virtual Death Diva, once known as Avatrix, Speedy Nux, who once danced away in the LA goth scene. Used to be friends with a lot of great people, and I had earned my notoriety here in LA. But none of that really matters right now. You see, as you're aware of, Donald Trump just given the Heritage Foundation their big wet dream, their early Christmas present, I suppose. He's now instructed ICE to target trans people, and knowing how they are, they're not going to stick to immigrants with visas. Of course not. They're just going to grab any trans person they see. And in doing so, they will rough us up. They will take us to a place where they will prevent us from taking our medications. They will intentionally starve us. They will probably try to defeminize us and force detransition upon us if they can find excuses to hold us for months at a time. This is medically dangerous. This is dehumanizing. This is a total violation of not only the Constitution, violating free speech and violating the freedom of expression, but we are guaranteed under the Constitution the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These guys don't care. They don't care at all. They violate the Constitution every day. And this country's become, a sad reflection of the man who is undoing everything. Well, this dystopian nightmare keeps getting worse. And I hate to admit it, but I'm afraid. I really am, because I'm vulnerable. And I'm going to tell you how. That you're on, well, you're in Hollywood, you'll be fine, just lay low, whatever. I can't lay low. I'm very public. I've been public for a long time. And the thing is, if I just think that they may not specifically come knocking on the door because they don't know where I'm at, but they know my movements, and that's a scary thought. And I'll tell you how they know my movements. And it's not so much because my medication's being tracked. What happens is, there already is an agency that, as of Friday, made it clear to us they are trying to take away my children. Believe it or not. Yes. Department of Family Services, DFS, formerly known as Child Protective Services, ambushed me at my kid's school. And they are criminally charging me with neglect. And we've been homeless since last August. My primary focus has been survival. Every dime I raise, I go to make sure my kids are not sleeping under a bridge. They're not sleeping in a cardboard box. They're not sleeping in a tent. They are not in some homeless encampment, and they're not sleeping in the car. They get a warm bed every night. They get meals every day. I wash their clothes. I take them to school. I do all that housewife stuff, and yet, because my child, it's not always convenient for me to wash laundry every fucking day. I sometimes don't have the money or a place I could really clean anything. So my kid wears her pants maybe same pair of pants for maybe 3-4 days out of the week. That happens now and then. I mean, God, it never mattered. I was growing up, of course, but the accusation they threw at me was the reason why they called is because my child sold her pants. She is a special needs child. These things happen. She just had her very first period a month ago. I mean, she's delayed. She is developmentally delayed. Okay, doesn't matter to them. Okay. Apparently, she's got a small infection. But here's the thing. it's in a place where it's not visible. It's in a place that will require an examination. Now, they say I am criminally liable for not addressing this infection. I didn't know she had one. She doesn't tell me that she's got an owie somewhere and point to it. How am I supposed to know? Especially if it's not visible. We're talking about a crease between, maybe the leg and her vagina, somewhere in there. Okay, really deep down, and I don't even know how they spotted it. It's so damn intrusive. Well, they said me, and I pointed out, listen, I wasn't necessarily born with this exact plumbing, if you know what I mean, and whether or not I get it or not, I find it a little inappropriate for me, unless I am requested to address the issue, or I can spot an obvious issue. There was nothing obvious to spot. She soiled her underwear. Okay, it happens. I mean, that's why we usually pack spare underwear in case that happens. But this one time we didn't. We were in between moves. I did 3 moves in the last week, and I get to do another one in 2 days. And I mean, you have no idea how stressful this is. Each time I move, I don't know where anything is. I wake up in the middle of the night, think I'm in one place, I can't tell apart from another because we've been jumping between multiple locations, and we've been doing this since August. So I flat out asked the woman that's coming after me. I said, you do this to all the parents of homeless kids? Or just me? This infection, she just had her very first period. We're still trying to work out like when her cycle fully comes in. She's a little overdue right now. Okay. I'm responsible for things that I cannot physically see, or unless she tells me, how am I supposed to know? I am criminally liable? I said, you do this to all the other parents whose daughters just had their first period, or just me? And another thing I brought up, and here's something you probably don't know because I don't talk about it. I don't like talking about this, but I'm going to share it this time. DFS has come at me 6 times prior, and they lost each time because they had nothing. They judged us because we were into goth music. We dress in black, and we're not conventional. And yeah, because we're pagans too. But now they're using the transgender thing against me. And they're not being nice about it either. And my problem is if they can ambush me in my kid's school, who else will they involve? They've sent the men with guns to my home many times. And I get a little weirded out when people point guns at me. And I'm treated like a criminal, and I've done no wrong. I have been there for my daughter since the day she was born. I have taken her to every therapy appointment. I have fed her. I have bathed her. I have taken care of her since she was an infant. I've helped her learn to walk. I've been defending her. I've been doing everything I can for this poor child. She drives me a little crazy sometimes. This idea that, when we just stay in motels, we're not staying in we're not staying in big hotels with big suites or anything like that. No, we're in these tiny little cramped boxes, so we're always in each other's face. And yeah, it's really hard on all of us. So this idea that I'm neglecting her. Here's the other issue. They say, oh, you don't bathe her enough. Because she has sensory issues. She gets combative. And she will scratch you. She will grab you in places. And, my wife, mainly does bathing. She bathes her mostly. But I'm always called to help because she gets attacked. Now, mind you, my daughter, she's really small. She's like 4'2" or something, but she has the strength of a full adult. And when I started this journey, I had a little more muscle mass, when you go on hormone replacement therapy, and pay attention, you fuckers that you say, oh, trans women, no, they're just actually men and they have an unfair advantage. No, you don't have an unfair advantage. You lose the muscle mass. You just lose it, I used to be able to do 40 push-ups. Now I can't do a single one. You know, just example. I mean, it's these things that people say they've all been debunked elsewhere, but you know, they'll find the one report that says contrary because it's based on bias and bigotry, and they'll run with it. So I am under constant stress. I have to raise money every single day until we can find an apartment. And the reason why we've been homeless for 8 months, in fact, the reason why I was even kicked out of my place of 23 years is because they didn't want a trans person there. You know, so they used some very shady means to get me out. Me and my family. I'm a family of 4 with a special needs child. They didn't care. You know? So they got us out. We've been trying to find a place to live. No one will rent to us. I discovered the hard way rather recently that, because I've been led to believe the lie they've been telling me, oh, it's, you know, credit score, you know, and they're putting the criteria at impossible heights. 700 credit score. You cannot have any debt. It's like, what? Who doesn't have a car note? You know, or, you know, they're making payments on something. I mean, you're telling me that every renter has perfect credit or no debt? I find that very hard to believe. Well, just to test that theory, I went to go look at some apartments by myself without my wife, and oh my God, what they've been telling me is true. They've been discriminating against me. I mean, each time they look me over and they're shocked that a trans person is come to their place, and their body language and the words they will use, not very friendly, rather hostile, and they will throw that credit score thing at me. At this point, I'm just like, yeah, sure. I'm gonna make like Office Space and go, yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. So it's taken us a long time. We may have found a place that, or at least the people who run it are LGBT friendly and they have a small colony, and so I'm hoping that all goes well. We might finally, our homeless nightmare may be over. But since August, I have spent every fucking day, every night, and you can ask any one of my people that follow me on Blue Sky, I've got multiple videos. I post every single day asking for money, and telling you where it's going. You know, we need food, we need fuel, and we have to make sure we have a roof over our head. Because Mia cannot handle, my daughter, she cannot handle living in a car. A car's too tiny. I mean, you have 2 feet of space in any direction per person. I mean, there's no fucking room. There's 4 of us. You know, and, you know, her sensory issues and space issues, you know, she'll start freaking out. When she freaks out, she gets very loud and starts swinging and attacking. In fact, so going back to all these, why they came after me 7 times, I'll review a couple of them. The first one, because my daughter had a 19-hour meltdown, screaming, yelling, pleading, so bad, you know, we were getting complaints, and, you know, and each time we were trying to calm her down, she's taking swings at us and scratching us up, and, you know, we got pretty mauled that day from this girl, because, you know, what can you do? I mean, she does what she does, right? But this was the absolute worst instance. My son was barely 3 years old at this time, and he was, I want to say 4.5 maybe. He wanted to help her. I mean, bless his heart. He wanted to help her and got a little too close, and she took a swing at him and left this, you know, blood scratch, you know, coming off from his eye. He looked like he's going to start with Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon Part 2, you know. The public school that we had just enrolled him in for TK at that time reported me and accused me that I did this. What? We had to prove. I said, look how the finger marks. They're tiny fingers. They're not fingers of an adult. So, accused of being a child abuser multiple times now. Multiple times. I mean, one time I was spotted by somebody that I yelled at my child. My child had been misbehaving for a week, and this teacher warned me that if he misbehaves further, that he's going to be not only kicked out of class, he's going to be expelled. And he had given me so many reassurances. Now, mind you, he was in kindergarten, and for whatever reason, that day he picked up a chair and threw it at a girl. Hurt her bad, I'm told. I was so embarrassed. I mean, after the long talk we had, so I kind of lost my cool, and I told him, had that been me and I was my father, yeah, he would have beat the shit out of me, right? Well, no, I didn't do that, but it's like I let him know that what he did was not only wrong. He had promised me he would behave, and I'm just like, goddamn, my son, he's smart. He's smart. He's reading and he's doing math work years above his grade. I mean, he's potential prodigy. I don't know. He's got a bright future ahead if he doesn't blow it. And I'm afraid this experience is traumatizing him. And again, because I am who I am, they're using it against me. They're using it against my wife. And they're just trying to destroy my family because somebody out there doesn't approve. Like, I need someone's approval. We pay our taxes. We follow the laws. We do everything we're supposed to do. We make sure we have our kids fed, bathed, and have new clothes every chance we get, and we make sure they get to school on time and everything. We do everything that normal parents do. But somehow or another, I'm being singled out. And most importantly, they're always asking if I'm hitting the children or I'm yelling at them or something. They're always trying. They called the other day and interviewed my wife, and basically they were on a fishing expedition. They asked the same old questions over and over again, pointing to me. They're after me. So my big fear right now is that, because they're very frustrated that they've never been able to have me incarcerated, that they can always make a phone call and let the other guys who want me. Now, over the weekend, it got revealed that in addition to what Donald Trump has done to the transgender community to harm us, he is now, DHS quietly is building 22 detention camps. Half of them are in Texas, the other half are in the Dakotas, I understand. And they're in warehouse districts, so you wouldn't know there was a prison there. And they're supposed to house about up to 10,000 people, each of these facilities. They're talking about doing some massive deportation shit. They're talking about rounding up people. Stephen Miller has made it very clear that he would like to reduce the population to 100. There's 3.5 million people in this country. 350 million people. He wants to reduce it to 100 million. That due to this country would destroy it, really. Well, he doesn't care. It's all about the white race. Can you believe this guy? He's the descendant of Holocaust survivors, and he's pulling this Nazi shit. Incredible. Well, anyway, back to those detention camps. It's been revealed that through contract through the U.S. Navy, they have bought these massive incinerators. Now, none of these other ICE camps have incinerators, of the Union Incinerator, especially the one on the industrial side. They plan to fucking burn people so there's no trace of them. These kind of things will make even bones disappear. Now, I'm going to ask you fucking people, do you really want that for us? What do we do? We don't do anything to you. Just want to live our lives. We just want to be happy. And yet you're coming at us with a vengeance. You didn't give a rat's ass about us 3 years ago. You didn't even know, a lot of you didn't even know existed. And chances are many of you have never met one of us and probably never will. And if you do by chance come across one of us, very likely they will have blended in so well you wouldn't know unless they told you. Especially those who transition early in their lives. The earlier they start, the more believable, the harder to spot. And that's why they don't want kids using puberty blockers. You know why? Because then they'll develop features that make them easy to identify, so these bullies can track them down and beat them up later. Yeah, that's what it is. This is insane. This is just pure insanity. I don't know, that man watched The Purge or what or The Handmaid's Tale, I don't know, but this is like a dying male patriarchy that needs to die, literally. And what they're doing to this country, and I mean, they're singling us out right now. And frankly, I don't know if I will survive. I'll be honest with you, I'm frightened, because if one agency can ambush me, another one could be also lying in wait. And I don't want to be disappeared. I don't want to die. I will take my own life if necessary to prevent that from happening, because I will not be defeminized and dehumanized and ultimately detransitioned only to be murdered after all that humiliation and abuse. I mean, I wish the UN really had real power to stop this, but they don't. I mean, Democratic leaders, I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, what the fuck are you two guys? What are you doing? Kamala Harris, what the fuck are you doing? You're being quiet. You're not stopping this. You got to do something. You know, our lives are on the line. And for me, personally, I mean, my wife will be devastated if they take our kids. Not only that, but I know exactly what they'll do then. And once they're in the system, whatever hope of my son going to college and everything else, you can kiss that goodbye, because they're gonna fuck him up. And my daughter, she won't survive. I'm terrified for them, but more so I am terrified for me, because everyone depends on me. You know, you don't have to agree with some of my beliefs or what have you, but what you should agree is that A, I'm a human being. You know, I'm also an American citizen, and should have the same human rights, the same dignity and respect afforded to every other human being. This idea that we're no longer human or unworthy of our citizenship is ludicrous. And it's wrong. So that's the story. I am scared, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I ran into a bunch of unmarked vans blocking away, and I thought it was a nice checkpoint. It looked just like them, and then the guys came out and, oh, it's just a bunch of Mexican gardeners just happened to be conversing next to a bunch of, you know, but it looked like a bunch of men coming out in tack gear. Scared the shit out of me. And I have to be careful. I'm very vulnerable, and I'm also very public, and I don't want to have to go into hiding. And I just frankly don't know what we're going to do. I don't have a plan. Donald Trump has prevented me from getting a passport, so I can't flee to Mexico. I can't flee to Canada. I have family in Mexico. Can't get to them. You know, I can't even cross the border. You know, I'm trapped in a kill box with nowhere to go. So it's up to you people. You need to speak up, speak out. If you want to say protect, you want to wear a t-shirt that says protect the dolls, well, fucking protect the dolls. Protect us. We're only less than 3 million people, roughly about the population of the state of Hawaii, and they're coming after us. And we've done nothing wrong except living our lives. Suddenly we're being criminalized, we're being dehumanized, we're being demonized. And these people are coming at us. I mean, they've passed now almost 700 anti-trans bills in 2026. This is only March. They're not done yet. They really, they've come, I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, it's insane. And most of you have heard the dehumanizing language for so long, you don't even care anymore. It breaks my heart that, you know, I may die in real time. And people will, oh, well, yeah, that kind of sucks for them, that, you know, going back to my life. Yeah, you know the old poem, the German poem. First they came for the trade workers, but I wasn't a trade worker. It bothered me. And then they came for the communists, but I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the Jews, but I wasn't Jewish. But then they came for me. And if you guys don't do anything, that will be you. It's been David Death Dolly, and that's been my story.